Right. You know, you're single, you're dating, people say, okay, how old are you? And then you have to explain this difference between chronological age and functional age. You know, it gets a little technical. And they're saying, I don't believe you. What's that? I usually can remember it. It's only about 11 o'clock when I want to fall asleep or something. No, not if I've had my nap. Hey, okay. Now, welcome all. You know why we're here? Because we're all self-reliant. As somebody said, is Sharon here tonight? She was at the luncheon? No, the other Sharon. No, the other Sharon's not here. Well, anyway, she was saying, you know, I'm my own physician. And, you know, it's perfectly okay to have more than one doctor in your life, including yourself, right? And in fact, in many respects, you're probably more qualified to be your doctor than other people because you know more about how you're feeling and so forth. And now, given the internet, you can actually do a fairly good job sometimes and know things your doctor doesn't know. And that's why we're here, to learn things that are useful, that will allow us to feel better, to be stronger and even better people, and also to live long, but not just to live long for the sake of longevity, but for the sake of because we love life. And if you do the right biochemistry, you can continue to love life for a very long time. And you know, various members here can testify to that. I'm one of them. You know, I was 55. I was starting to lose it, and I just wasn't enjoying life very much. And it's a long story, but now I do. And shortly after I joined Smart Life Forum, met Steve Fox, and you know, our magician biochemist. Then I got my brain chemistry tuned up and got my dopamine up again, and it had always been high, and you know, I've always been lucky to be a happy person, and now I'm happy again, and have been for the last 20 years. In fact, I remember when it happened, I said to myself, geez, if I could just get 10 more good years, I'd be happy. And now I'm 75, and you know, I'm going strong. I don't see any problems yet. And anyway, enough of that. But we're gonna have just a quick forum tonight, and because we've got two wonderful speakers. I hope you all got the program, printed out the newsletter. It was a little bit hard to find the newsletter this time, but the second time they sent out the announcement, the newsletter was a little easier to find, in my experience. And the newsletter was very fine as usual. Mike does a great job, or whoever's helping him. And so I think what we'll do here is we'll start the forum, and we'll just go about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we're going to have a couple of short presentations, and then we'll go to our short report, which is going to be very special. Had the pleasure of having lunch with Stephanie Seneff tonight, this afternoon, at a very elegant lunch it was at Susan Downs' house. It was quite wonderful, and we had a really great discussion. I wish you could hear, you know, the discussion. In fact, I think we should do more panels. This is one of Larry Weisenborn's idea, that we should do more panels, and I'd like to do more panels because I mean, you get a lot of people who are have studied this stuff for a while. You get the ideas flying around. It's very exciting, very rewarding, and you know, two heads are better than one, and especially if Steve's head is one of them, then it's like 3 heads. He counts as 2. But anyway, okay, now, whoops. Whoop, whoop. Haha. Okay, I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Must be the magic touch.
Really? I can sing you a song. Okay. Some of you. Okay, you want to have a surprise. Google Phil Jacklin and YouTube, and my big operatic solo will come up. And yeah, and you'll be surprised. Even I was surprised when I heard myself singing that thing. But anyway, the way the forum works is now you either make a comment on something in the news, like today there was great news on Alzheimer's. They found another gene that's very important, and give a report on that, ask questions about it, or just raise a question, get other people's information that might be helpful to you. I mean, this is a forum. It's the Smart Life Forum, which means, by the way, that tough questions are always in order, not just with respect to your own issues, but when we have speakers, we leave time for questions. And don't be, in science, people can disagree and still respect each other. And so do not hesitate to ask tough questions. You ask a tough question, you're going to learn something. And probably, sometimes nobody will know the answer, but that's okay too, because then we know what we have to work on. Okay, who's got a comment? Who's got a thought? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to announce I'm chairman of the FMBR, Foundation for Mind Being Research, and November 30th, since I think a lot of people are interested in cancer, Dr. Bill Bingston from Colorado is giving a talk on healing and lessons with regard to how to heal with regard to cancer. And he's done some fabulous experiments, and that's on the 30th at Unity Church, and that's at 7 o'clock. And I have some flyers there, so I just want to let everyone know that there's a workshop with regard to that also the following 2 days.
Now Ted Lewis and I consulted a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, I guess. I'd like to have him. He gave me a report. I thought maybe you'd like to hear it.
No, I have to admit, everything I hear here I take with a little grain of salt. And so I was advised that I can lower my blood pressure by decreasing my blood pressure medication and bumping up my potassium level. And so I decided to take the advice. I didn't consult I mentioned it to my doctor, but I didn't tell him I was going to be doing it. Oh, it's some guy that likes to talk too much here at Smart Life Forum. Anyway, I think his initials are PJ or something like that. So anyway, I got this advice, and I decided to go for it. And I first monitored my blood pressure normally with the current, high blood pressure medication. And then I cut my high blood pressure medication in half and bumped up my potassium level to, 1,000, and plus hawthorn berry. And my blood pressure went down remarkably, below 120, anywhere from 116 to 108. And so what happened was I come back to my doctor after 3 months of, monitoring my blood pressure twice a day. And he goes, you know something? Why don't you just stop the high blood pressure medication and come back in a month, and we'll take a look at what's going on. And so I think it's really good news.
I did a big study on blood pressure, and I can tell you the biochemistry is strong. It doesn't always solve the problem because there's lots of ways things can go wrong, but in most cases the problem is potassium deficiency. Mr. Larson.
Another blood pressure treatment that I've heard of is 3 sticks of celery a day. That's it. Three sticks. I think it's a quarter pound. I figured it out to be 3. And it takes effect in about a week or week and a half.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody got any other ideas about blood pressure? Okay. Another comment, another question. Anybody dealing with anything they'd like to get? Yeah.
Phil. Phil, question. I talked to a lot of people who are asking about collagen. Collagen 1, collagen 2, which is chicken breast, and collagen 3. And I understand that Byrne has something Vern Friedlander, and we just had 30 seconds over there. And so I would like really an explanation, because I understand our body is 80 to 85% collagen, correct?
Yeah, okay, okay. Bert, would you like to come in? Okay.
No, not me. First of all, we're about 70% collagen, not 85. The difference is one that I've looked at chicken cartilage, and it's mainly type 2. One of the problems I had with chicken and fish cartilage is that most of the doctors, and Frank Schallenberger will tell you, and many other doctors, Lena Hutnick is here, is that they had no results. When they started using collagen peptin, which is a unique form of collagen that I've developed, it's enzymatically broken down 8 times with a prolytic enzyme. We're the only one in France doing that right now, and we're opening up a market in South America to do the same thing. Ours is pasture-raised, grass-fed. Chicken is, first of all, they're still feeding soy and corn in chicken. Ours is predominantly grass-fed, so you get a different kind of composition. Ours has mostly 1, some 2, and 3. The human body predominantly needs 1 and 3, and also 2. So that's the effects. And most of the chicken, like I said, is caged. So they're not running free, so you're getting fed different kinds of compounds, and estrogen goes up high in some of these chickens. And also in fish, they're raised in farms. So most of the fish is raised in, like catfish, they're also fed mostly soy and corn and some algae.
Okay. Yeah, now Steve gave a wonderful talk on collagen, and I, rather than try to remember it, I'll just hand the mic to Steve.
Yeah, I don't know if it's online, but I did give a talk here about it. The human body is about 70% water, not collagen. Yeah, the collagen content of the body varies by tissue and can be anywhere from 20% to maybe 60, 70% in some rare tissues. But things like ligaments and tendons run about 50%, and the skin runs higher than 50%. So this is probably the largest single class of protein in the entire body by far. In my opinion, I don't think it matters whether or not you use type 1 or type 2 or type 3 or type 5 or type 7. There's 7 different collagen genes, but the key issue is that you have to break it down into the amino acids in order to build collagen back up again. And so when you take the subtle variations in the collagens between type 1 and type 2 and type 3, when you look at it from the point of view of amino acid ratios, the ratios aren't very far off from each other. And you end up with a lot of amino acids that are not reusable. So for example, when collagen is made from primarily lysine, glycine, and proline, and then it is translated outside of the cells of the body to build what's called the extracellular matrix. This is the environment that all of our cells live in, and it's a structured environment. The collagen is matured. It comes out as one protein, it gets modified into another protein, it gets cross-linked into this matrix, and then it gets matured, and that maturation process alters proline and lysine residues to make them more water-soluble. And once that happens, you can't reuse them. So on some level, I don't think it really matters what the source of your collagen protein is, as long as when you're using it, if you want that bang for your buck, that it's hydrolyzed or digested, pre-digested. That's what you look for on the label. Is it hydrolyzed or pre-digested? If it's not, you're basically just talking about gelatin. And it's not like gelatin is necessarily bad. I mean, a lot of cultures do extensively rely upon gelatinous foods as part of their diet, and they appear to be significantly healthier than cultures that don't. And so I think that issue of collagen is a very important human aging and degenerative disease factor. And I think that's not just because some humans don't eat collagen and don't eat animal products, but because humans have a built-in enzyme problem with vitamin C. We need vitamin C. And one of the roles that vitamin C plays is that it's a critical factor in the maturation of collagen. So if you have a deficiency of vitamin C, you can't mature your collagen properly, and then you end up with systemic inflammation. So humans really need to focus on their collagen. And whether you take vitamin C to do that or whether you take pre-digested collagen protein, these are both powerful techniques for improving the connective tissue, the strength of our tissue. And that's why we're different than jellyfish, is that jellyfish don't have collagen and we do. Yeah, the maturation of collagen not only requires vitamin C and bioflavonoids, but requires iron and copper and silicon.
But those minerals are pretty abundant. You're not likely to probably be missing those. But okay, now I think we better stop right there. And now, the folks at that table right there want to make a short presentation. Now, could you do it in 3 minutes, do you think? Okay, good.
Yeah, turn it off, right? My name is Lisa St. John, and 15 years ago I started Bay Area Hyperbarics about 4 blocks down the street. When I was 35, I got very sick. I worked for Kaiser Northern California in their corporate offices. I'd been trained at Harvard and did a fellowship at Stanford Medical Center. I was at the top of my career dealing with a $152 million budget. Pretty exciting for me at the time, and I got really sick. And when I got really sick, I went to the doctor. They said, take some time off, come back. I came back. My staff was doing okay. And then I started getting sick again, and I went to my doctor saying, I'm afraid that I might be getting sick again. And they thought I had some kind of maybe mononucleosis kind of problem. My Epstein-Barr titers were through the roof, but they couldn't figure it out. And she said, don't worry about it. It's just the flu. Go home. It's Thursday. Go back to work on Monday. I didn't get out of bed for 2 years. I never saw my staff. I never picked up my things from my office. I never said goodbye. I was really sick. Friends took care of me, and then, of course, bless my mother. She took care of me. I really, literally could not get out of bed. And all the doctors told me, well, we don't know what's wrong with you. Chronic fatigue syndrome or this or that. And I slowly started to heal. And when I went to see my 30th physician, he said, I think maybe there's something else involved here. I think we should take a look and see if you have a bone infection. And what he found out, and I found out, is that I had some bacteria that had grown under a tooth. My teeth were fine, and it had made me extremely sick. And it infected the bone and made me very, 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 very ill. So my doctor also said, bone infections are really hard to heal, and they're hard to heal even with surgery and even with lots of antibiotics. And now we know how hard antibiotics are on your body. And he said, if you can find a hyperbaric chamber somewhere, your healing is going to improve. And I found a group of people who had MS. They had bought a chamber down in Santa Cruz. I looked around here. There were no hyperbaric chambers at the time, none in the Bay Area. Over at Eden Hospital in Castro Valley, I found one that the volunteers had given to the hospital, and they kept in the basement. And they said, fine, just, no problem. You can come use it, $1,000 a treatment. I needed 20 treatments. That was all I had left in my retirement savings account after 7 years. That's all I had. And I thought, oh, God, what am I going to do now? And so I bought in a hyperbaric chamber with 4 people who had MS out of Santa Cruz. Went every day to a garage in Santa Cruz. Not a safe way to do real hyperbarics, because it's actually now I know it's kind of dangerous to do it that way. But I didn't know that at the time, so I was, and in that process, I decided if I was going to get better, that there had to be opportunities for other people in our community to be able to get better too. It turns out that you go with what I had, a bone infection, 50% chance of recovery with surgery and antibiotics. You add hyperbarics, it goes to 80% chance of recovery, and I was one of the lucky ones. So for this reason, I talk to everybody I can about hyperbaric medicine. What it does is it does a variety of things. It decreases inflammation. It rebuilds your bones and tissues. It supercharges antibiotics. It kills unwanted bacteria. It rebuilds the natural flora in your body. So that's what I do. We have lots of literature up here. Christine works with me. Teus has done hyperbaric. There's other people in this room who have worked with me with hyperbarics. And feel free to talk to us about it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Terry Pocklington. I've been here a few times in the past, not most recently. I guess the last time was when we talked about some of the earthing aspects and the advantages of earthing. But I would like to just share with you information about what we're doing as a company, Pharmanex, and it has to do with some work of LifeGen Technologies out of Madison, Wisconsin. With the University Association there's a company that the company actually purchased, LifeGen Technologies, October last year. But the reason I bring that up is because they have taken the human genome and they have done a complete mapping of what's referred to as youth gene clusters. In other words, there's the human genome, they've taken that information and they basically have mapped the various genes that are responsible for various organelles and organs within the human body. They've done a lot of work on mitochondria, and that's why I wanted to share it tonight. In that last 10 years or so, there's been work on the mitochondria as far as energy activity and also the ability to increase VO2 maximization as far as oxygen utilization in the body. As a result of that, 2 years ago, there's a product introduced by the company. It has 3 active ingredients, cordyceps mushroom, ginseng extract root, as well as pomegranate extract. And so that's under a very high quality of quality control. This product is available worldwide now. And I have product information pages over on the side. I can send you electronic copies to save a few trees. We can send you electronic copies as well as a compendium on the research that's behind the product itself, done by organizations such as the California Oxygen Society. There was a presentation given a couple of years ago. So I have a board here if you're interested in information on the product as well as the compendium. Just give me your name and your email address and I can send that information to you electronically. I have about a dozen pages of what we refer to as a product information page. It's a 3-page describing the product, the active ingredients, who would benefit from it, etc. And I just wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to share the information with you because I myself, I became a distributor because I was a victim, I say, of aging, and I was refusing to age. But 2 years ago, I could hardly walk. I had been exercising, jogging 2 miles plus for 40 years, but I got to the point I could hardly get out of bed. And I could hardly walk a quarter mile. I forced myself. I didn't know what the problem was. Traditional medicine really wasn't helping me, but a person introduced me to the product, and now I'm running 2 miles a day, swimming, well, when it's warmer, about a half hour every day. I could not have done that because my energy level has basically been enhanced due to the mitochondrial activity at a higher level as well as the oxygen utilization. In fact, I can remember sometimes that when I was trying to jog, like I was suffocating. I couldn't get enough air, and I couldn't understand this. But it goes back to the functioning of the mitochondria, which I thought today's major presentation is right on course. We basically recognize the aging of the mitochondria in the body, but it can be reversed. In other words, we talk about gene expression. The DNA is not impacted by the 3 compounds here, but rather it's the food for the expression of the gene to be more positive, and they use the Affymax gene chip, which is produced down here in Silicon Valley, as a way to measure the energy level in the mitochondria. And so they tune up those areas that need to be higher level energy and tune down those that might be competing. So I find the science very fascinating, and I think it kind of complements what the speaker is going to be speaking about.
Is it taken orally? Pardon? Is it taken orally?
Yes, it's taken orally. You can take it once a day, twice a day is recommended. I personally take it twice a day. But there's information on product usage. Again, I can send you electronic. There are a dozen copies here, but I attribute my health turnaround to that one product itself.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, both of these last two speakers are obviously in good health now, so that's wonderful to see.
Hi, I just have a quick announcement. There are free refreshments here for everybody, and everybody here is a volunteer, and there's going to be a change to the membership procedure. Our membership committee, Laurel Cochran, hopes to soon have some membership cards with their name, address, and date of dues on each card. Hopefully this will quickly speed up the registration each month, and it'll make it go smoother. And if you forgot your card, don't worry. We still have a membership roster here to look you up. And for the new members, we'll send you a card after the monthly meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sharon. And to introduce Stephanie, I want to introduce Susan. Susan is an MD, psychiatrist, and she went to MIT with Stephanie and had this wonderful luncheon today. And let me see what else. I guess since you're not the main speaker, I better stop.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to make a short announcement before. We on the board welcome all of your input and suggestions because we want to make sure that we're responsive to your needs. Now, one of the things Smart Life is doing is we're finding people in other parts of the country that are very interested in participating and watching our program on live. So the board has made a decision to switch the order of the future meetings and have the long speaker first after the forum here. And if anybody has any strong feelings about that, let us know, but we've got a chapter in Chicago and maybe some other ones, and it's kind of exciting. But, but do give us feedback on, what your thoughts are. We want to make sure we're responsive to you.